Good morning. I'm Tyler Martin, and here's the latest from Spectrum Autism Research. Standard Quality of Life Screener Validated for Autistic Adults by Peter Hess. A tool designed to measure quality of life in the general population is valid for use in adults with autism, according to a new study. Reliable measures of quality of life are important as autism research increasingly examines well-being as an outcome, says study co-investigator Zachary Williams, a medical and doctoral student at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. The tool, called the Patient-Reported Outcomes Measurement Information System, or PROMIS Global 10, is a 10-item survey that asks a person to rate, on a 5-point scale, their physical and mental health, their satisfaction with their social activities and relationships, and their quality of life. It debuted in the U.S. in 2009, but was only validated for use with non-autistic people. Being relatively short, the PROMIS Global 10 takes little time and energy to complete, Williams says, making it easy to add as part of a research study. So he and his team set out to make it work for autistic people. In the new study, Williams and his team invited 901 autistic adults to complete the PROMIS Global 10, as well as surveys about their medical and psychiatric histories, demographic information, and autism traits. Most participants were white, college-educated women who were diagnosed with autism as adults. None of the variables the researchers considered, including the participants' age, sex, race, co-occurring psychiatric conditions, autism traits, or physical symptoms, had a significant impact on the way participants rated items in the questionnaire. This result suggests that the PROMIS Global 10 does not suffer from so-called differential item functioning, a common shortcoming of clinical questionnaires in which certain questions may tap into unmeasured traits that differ among groups. For instance, on a depression questionnaire, women may be more likely than men to say they cry often, but because women tend to cry more than men regardless of depression, men need to be more depressed to endorse the same item, Williams says. The researchers used the survey responses to calculate an overall quality of life score for each participant and found that the items influencing autistic adults' quality of life carried different relative importance than those that affect non-autistic adults' lives. Items asking respondents about their levels of physical pain and fatigue, for instance, tracked with autistic adults' overall mental health. The researchers did not see this pattern in the general population, and mental health had a relatively stronger link to overall quality of life than physical health did, another departure from trends seen in the general population. For these reasons, the existing scoring system did not work for autistic participants, so Williams' team developed a new scoring method. To do so, they assumed that autistic adults' quality of life scores are normally distributed, with half above average and half below average. They then used an algorithm to tweak how strongly the ratings on individual items on the questionnaire influenced a person's overall quality of life score. They calculated how well each item tracked with someone's underlying mental or physical health until the model fit the participants' data on those two factors. The overall scores strongly correlate with the participants' answers to the PROMIS Global 10 item that explicitly asks a person to rate their own quality of life, the team found. These scores also correlated with participants' physical, emotional, and psychiatric health as measured by additional clinical questionnaires. This finding suggests that the calculated quality of life scores accurately reflect the factors influencing an autistic adult's well-being. Other researchers can access a free publicly available score calculator for the questionnaire that can convert a participant's score or an entire database of participants' scores to a raw score or percentile score. Part of the strength of the PROMIS Global 10, Williams says, is that it does not rely on non-autistic adults' habits and norms. For instance, rather than rating the quality of a person's social life according to how many friends they have, it asks how satisfied the person is with their social activities and relationships. Williams and a collaborator are deploying the PROMIS Global 10 in a research study to explore the factors that predict changes in autistic adults' subjective health and well-being over time. That's all for today. Check back on Monday for more content from Spectrum Autism Research, or go to spectrumnews.org.